Good evening to those bored enough to watch. Action and beat 'em up games are ones that I find quite fun to play through, as I've enjoyed my time with games such as the Yakuza series, Spider-Man and many others. However, all of these can supposedly be considered modern games, ones that were made with modern principles in mind, made to be enjoyed by a modern audience. The game I want to talk about in this video is one that I recently gave a chance and found to be a good experience, but was lacking in a lot of areas, as well as time gradually being more and more cruel to this game as the years go by. In this video, I want to talk about this game and everything I liked, disliked, and whatever is in between that. So, with that said, let's discuss Golden Axe. In this video, I plan to solely focus on the gameplay and less on the story, as I want to give more of a review than an analysis. So, let's begin with a basic overview. The game follows an isometric perspective as you choose between 3 different playable characters, each presumably with their own moveset and statistics. I went with Axe Battler as he was the first option. I didn't really give much thought in playing as the other characters, as I didn't really see the point, as in my opinion, I don't see the incentive in trying to play as the other characters. You play through stages where you fight multiple enemies before fighting a boss and moving on with the next. Something else worth noting is that the game has a beginner mode, which is what you're seeing here. It's mostly the first 3 stages with slight alterations for easing the playthrough for a first time player. I thought that this was a good idea, and when I first got the game it did help me to understand the mechanics and the structure of the game. The combat, in my opinion, is a bit of a mixed bag. With this game being made and released in 1989 for the arcade, I do think that for newer players such as myself, it can be very frustrating and frankly annoying to have to start from the beginning if you get a game over, which those who've played this game a lot would know that you are likely to get them a lot, which is something I will discuss in due course. One thing I do like about the game is the customizability, as it gives you the option to change the health meter if you please. One of the many issues I have with the game is the combat and gameplay, and how difficult it can be to traverse the levels. When trying to attack enemies, it can be so difficult to see where the enemies are and if you're properly aligned with them to land an attack, leading to me trying to adjust myself and be able to hit them and failing, which often resulted in me taking a hit anyway. Additionally, enemies don't really have an attack pattern, often leading to them just hitting you whenever they feel like it. Sometimes I would get up and then get knocked down immediately after, and this cycle would continue until I managed to worm my way out. There's no consistent pattern, which makes understanding the game and its mechanics difficult and irritating to properly learn and understand. If this wasn't bad enough, some stages also introduce gimmicks such as these rideable dragons and other creatures, which can be difficult to navigate where you're hitting when riding, and when an enemy is using them, their pre-existing and non-existent attack patterns become even more so. Another thing I do like about the combat in this game is the way these vile things I don't know the name of are handled. During gameplay, you have a limited number of uses of them, being 3 before the meter is completely depleted. When using it, it causes a complete explosion to occur, damaging most enemies in the vicinity, sometimes instantly killing them. You can replenish them, as throughout the levels these blue creatures will arrive and hitting them will give you them, as well as in between levels. I think that the form of scenario is handled rather poorly in the game, as in my opinion I think it breaks the pacing of a level in a negative way, as you either need to wait for them to leave completely, which can take a while, or hit them twice. Even when I needed to replenish, I still felt this way, as due to the issue with the game I talked about earlier, they can be extremely difficult to hit, which isn't helped by the fact that these things move incredibly fast, which makes them even more difficult to land a hit on than they already are. Other issues with the game include the really crunchy and disorienting sound design, in my opinion, which out of the very limited older retro games I've played so far, this is the only one I felt this way towards. I've given Streets of Rage 1 to 3 a chance, and I really liked the sound design, but here I couldn't help but feel gradually more and more uncomfortable playing through the game. For example, attacking using this dragon unleashes a really discomforting sound effect. The music is also completely stopped when other sound effects play, such as enemies dying or stage props such as people in a village running away. It's something I find rather difficult to put into words because it's something that correlates to how I felt playing through the game, and it's not necessarily something I can properly express in a video. This is definitely as a result of the very limited technology that was worked with during the time of this game's development, as do remember that this game was released in 1985, so I will say that I don't hold it to this game's fault entirely. I am aware that not everyone will share this same discomfort, which I definitely do encourage for you to play through this game yourself to see. Overall, I do think that this game is good, but is held back by a lot, most of which is caused by the limited technology of the time this game was made. I suppose that it can be considered a little unfair to give this game a modern review since this game will be 35 years old this year, but I wanted to give my perspective on this game to show that it is a good one, just its timely faults are gradually beginning to show more and more, but despite that I think that it's worth playing. As for this game's sequels, I still haven't played them yet, but I do think that this game is a humble beginning for a formula of games that will continue to improve as the years progress. So, if you have the chance, the game is 89p on Steam, which is the way I played it, so if you can, I do encourage you to play Golden Axe. So, there's the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I apologize if my voice sounds a bit off. I have been a tad sick recently, and I hope it wasn't too awful to listen to. If you want to view the list of games I want to make videos about in the future, then you can always do so through the link in the description. Additionally, if you want to follow me, then my socials will be linked in the description, as well as any afterthoughts or messages I may want to add. With that, I haven't really got much else I want to say, so I'll see you all in my next video. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I wish you all a very pleasant evening.